familiar nose and face of a Kia, you can see very clearly. This is the Kia Picanto, the baby in the range, facelifted recently, and they brought in a new top of the range model, which we've got right now. They call it the X line. Interesting name over here. And what they've done is, as part of the modern trend of bringing smaller cars and making them look like quasi off-roaders or crossovers, shall I call it, you'll see you've got the extra treatment over here. Very interesting silver grey treatment over there. You get fog lights, edgy, daytime running lights, all those kind of features are on it as well. You can see over there. You come round, and of course what makes it look like a crossover is when you get the cladding around the wheel arches and down the bottom of the car over there. You can see down the base of the doors, etc. But also X-Line, because it's the top of the range, gives you really neat looking dual tone 15-inch mag wheels standard on them as well. Neat, looks good. The test car, as you can see, is a black car, and I kind of wondered to myself, because of the cladding, which is dark grey or black itself, somehow, although this does look neat, I wonder, I would probably like a white one with the black contrast to really make it look very, very different and stand out. But it does look good, and that's what counts. And it's a very neat shape, the Picanto, very neat looking car, A to B segment hatchback, so smallish hatchback. But you can see, with particularly the driver's seat set to for myself, there's decent legroom in the back. The headroom is very good. You do get Isofix in the rear, which is important. And X-Line does give you leather seats or imitation leather with contrasting stitching over there. So you get all of those kind of features on X-Line added in to give you much, much more than you expect from the car in basic form. Come round to the rear. Interesting and unusual looking tail lights. And again, for the crossover effect, you can see the extra grey. You've got the skid plate effect over there, and two really mean looking exhausts for a little car like this. Pop open the boot over here, and at first sight it looks really, really small, but that's because when you lift up the board here, you'll see it's actually a dummy board, and there's a much lower big section over there as well. So you get a total of about 200 litres of boot space with a space saver spare wheel underneath there as well. What I can tell you is, as typical and normal for this category of car, you can drop the rear seats 2/3, 1/3, gives you about an 800 litre space, and we moved a lot of boxes in this car on the test. I can tell you it can take a pretty good load. Closed over here, and you'll see a couple of features that X-Line give you as well, which is rear park distance control, but more importantly, a rear camera on a little car like this, which is interesting, and a rear wiper as well, just in case you want to know about that. Picanto comes with two engine options. This is the bigger one of the two, which is standard in the X-Line. It's the 1.25 four-cylinder engine, very typical to Kia. Puts out 61 kilowatts, 123 newton meters of torque. For a smallish car like this, gives a lot of pep, a lot of go, and that's what makes it nice fun to drive. Let's jump in behind the wheel. Starting off behind the wheel, as always, you'll see we've done 290 kilometers so far on this tank. Look at that, 6.4 liters per 100. I can tell you that's a lot of short driving, commuting duty, and nothing else. So it's really good. I did take it on a cruise on the freeway, and I had it down to 5.2 liters per 100 at one stage. So pretty impressive for a little car like that. And that was cruising at 120 most of the way when I was doing that. So you can get an idea. You of course can scroll through the computer and show different figures, etc. Very standard for today. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. You've got your multifunction steering wheel over there, of course, all your sound and phone controls. They're all there for you, everything you want. Electric windows all around on this car as well, which I think is a pretty good feature. And something that did impress me on a smaller car like this is auto on headlights. So well done on that, Kia. I think that's a nice feature, and something that I'm becoming quite used to these days and almost miss when I don't get it. Your dash obviously is plastic, but fit and finish feel very good. Nice sort of silver chromish effect across there, over there. Looks neat. Feature, of course, on the X-Line again is the nice big screen 8.5-inch touch screen over there. Again, you know what it's like. That's on home. You can put onto radio, just press a button, media. They all work exactly the same, and you know how they work, so I'm not going to spend time. But, of course, I mentioned just now, one really, really good feature is the reverse camera that pops up behind you over there. So even though it's a small car, I like that feature. You come down, your air conditioning, very effective, works nicely, and certainly keeps the car nice and cool, and you can see that. And then look at this. This, I think, is very neat. Your 12-volt and USB over there, nice and easy to access, easy to see. Some of them can be very hidden these days, as we know, but there they are. And you've got two nice big cup holders over here. And what I also did use very neatly in this car was I found my phone sat very nicely in this cup holder over here when I was using navigation. So just a feature. A lot of cars I often test, I have a problem that if I'm trying to use maps on my phone, that I don't know where to put the phone, that I can see it while I'm driving. So good stuff. 5-speed manual gearbox over here, which is the standard, light, easy. It's just so typical of a vehicle like this. It's a pleasure to use, can I simply say that much? But everything on this car is nice and light, and that is the feature. Of course, X-Line I mentioned, and I showed you the leather effect seats, which have actually got dual color even. You can see on the outer rim over here, you get a leather stitch steering wheel. You get all these sort of features on X-Line, which are nice, and they're upmarket, they feel good. But I'm going to say something here that is just a personal opinion, and I mentioned that. On a lot of smaller cars, it's all about price. And I have to say that this one comes in at 237, call it 238,000 Rand. Picanto starts at 180, just on the 180 mark. Yes, you get the smaller engine, but I don't think that matters. And this is one of those cases where I couldn't help thinking to myself, the base models, everybody knows they're popular, they've got a fantastic reputation, they're certainly up there with all their competitors in that category, in that entry level, can I call it? But would I spend 238 on an X-Line? That I can't quite convince myself as yet. If I was looking at Picanto, and I certainly would, as I said a moment ago, in the A to B segment hatchback, I would look lower down the range. But that is me. It depends what you're looking for. It depends what you want. And it really is a matter of choice. I think it's great that Kia give you the option of all these extra features. 2 airbags as well are included. It's features like that that make a difference. I fully agree. But I'm speaking for myself here, and my opinion. It's certainly the Picanto range is a contender in this category. There is no doubt in my mind whatsoever. But I would look very carefully at which specific derivative I would choose in the range. It's a fun to drive car. The bigger engine definitely gives you pep, gives you the extra go, gives you that extra bit of fun driving. Check them out, and I would say at very least drive both engine derivatives before you make your decision, because I think that could make a difference. But overall, nice little car, nice features on it, taking a little car with a quasi crossover look to it, plus lots of extra luxury features, and putting it out there like that. So it definitely adds to the range. Overall, nice one, and I think if I was in this category, I would shortlist this, that's for sure. For Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor. See you next time.